Hello, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook, and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to create this healing space for some of my patrons. So I'm connecting with three of my patrons today. That's Carol, Jodi, and David. And I have put your names here in this Poya shell from New Zealand. I was inspired to use that for our little bowl today. So I'll be picking your names out of that shell throughout our time together today. So I look forward to connecting with you. If you're not one of the people who are on my list today, I do trust that you enjoy spending this time with me today. So I'm sure it's no accident that you happen to be here, and I'm sure that something shared will resonate with you and be helpful in your life. Hopefully. So thanks for stopping by. I think I'll just get straight into it actually. So I'm going to start. So let's see who's first. So the first person is this person. It's David Magness. So David, take a nice big breath. This is your time now. So I'm going to start the connection by pulling a healing energy card for you, and then I'm going to tune in. So we'll see what's actually, that's probably a good thing to mention. Hi Loretta. I'm highly sensitive to energy, so as I tune in, I sort of pick up, if you like, intuitively what's loudest in your vibration, and I'll talk through that. We'll do some healing as we need to, and bring you through that space or that energy. It's sort of a bit hard to explain, but once we get started, you'll probably feel that connection. So if you can take a nice deep breath, David, and we'll see which healing energy card you need today, and then I'll tune in and we'll see. So just think of this as a guide only, just some another perspective, another way of looking at something, and hopefully to help shift some stuff for you. And that goes for everybody. So your healing energy card, I know what this is because it's a different colour to the rest. So I had to add this. I lost the card somehow, but it's the Lotus Heart Opening is your card today, David. Card 29. And this is very much about healing the heart, letting your heart heal so that you can let your heart open. So if your heart is closed off because it's wounded or it's pained or it's small, then that impacts your capacity to love. So to open and expand your capacity to love, it feels to me like your heart requires healing. So let's see what happens. So I've pulled this card for you, David, and I'm aware of that, but I'm going to sort of imagine that I'm putting that card aside and the message from it aside, and I now want to tune into your body and see what's loudest in your vibration and where we need to go with this. This card may fit in, it may not, but we will see. I don't want to direct the energy too much, so I just want to trust it. So nice big breath for me, please, David, and let's tune in and see what's going on. And if I breathe too big, then I blow things over. So I'll try not to breathe out too forcefully. Okay. Okay, so the first area I'm being drawn to energetically for you, David, is in your spine, and especially the back of your spine. So we're looking from your tailbone right up to the base of your skull, and I'm seeing it as this sort of thin slither of black. So this thin black spine, I guess we could say. It feels actually like it's been burned out. It's a bit like a charcoal piece of wood, a charred piece of wood. That sort of is how I'm seeing your spine right now, your whole length of spine. So it feels thin, it feels burned out, we could say, charcoaled, charred, and quite stiff here too. And I'm feeling there's an area at the back of the heart that just feels like it's slightly sort of curving off to the side. as I connect with this energetically. So it's pushing over to the right side is how I'm seeing this curve. But other than that, it's just a straight, thin, charred looking rod that is your spine energy at the moment. So I'm really drawn to the area at the back of your heart, so that's got that bit of a dip in it, that bit of a curve, and I feel it pushing over to the right, and it feels like there's something from the left that's pushing over to the right. So what I feel with that is there's something from the past that's pushing over into your future and your potential future. It's wanting to overlap past. It's almost like your spine is the like a time placer or a time marker that indicates your now moment. So your spine feels like it's this now and then this now. So sort of as time passes, it's just your now. It's your constant now time marker, if you like. And I feel like there's something from your past that's wanting to push through that timeline of your present moment, this now moment marker. It's wanting to push over that and into your future and impact that. So in some ways it feels like your spine, this is really strange, but this is just what I'm feeling. I trust it makes sense for you, David, as it sort of comes together. But it feels like your spine is almost like a fence that's stopping the past from penetrating and influencing, or it's trying to stop the past from influencing your future. So it sort of stops it from moving across the fence. So it's a bit like having a wolf that's trying to get across the fence to get over to the sheep on the other side, on this sort of future side. So your spine is performing a really important task, and perhaps something for a lot of us to think about. I think this perspective is really interesting. So with the boundary, your spine is a boundary. I feel like we need to sort of pull that curved area back into place so it's straight, and then look at perhaps why it's charred or why it's burned. So this is a natural barrier, a natural time marker that's keeping you in the moment. It's keeping your past in the past and your future just being created as it goes, without too much impact from the past tainting what you're moving into. So when we're very wounded and our past energy is very wounded and hurt, and we feel angry and bitter and we're holding this energy inside, it can quite easily taint and cross over into our now moment and what we're creating for our future. But I feel this specific clear fence here, but there is energy that's trying to push over at the moment. So because this energy that's trying to push over is sitting at the back of the heart, this tells me that there's likely a connection here with love, with perhaps something that hurt you quite deeply in the heart from your past, and something very heart related, energetically, love, heart connected. So, okay, so what we need to do, I'm just seeing this spinal energy here that's sort of curving over, and I just feel like I want to tap it over so it's not curved and just back into center. So it now forms this straight rod. It moves easily over and pushes almost this, so I mentioned a wolf sort of energy before, and the past, it doesn't feel quite like that. It has a similar energy, but it doesn't appear like that to me. It appears more like a group of animals, so sheep, wolves, whatever, a group of animals that have a big white blanket thrown over it. And it's like this massive moving blanket. White blanket is trying to push across this timeline, this line marker of your spine that keeps you in this present moment. It sounds weird, but that's how I'm seeing it. Like a sheet over these animals. So just as I move that spine back into place, that spinal energy, this energy actually quite easily just sits back in that sort of paddock, in that field where it belongs, and at this stage anyway, it's not trying to taint or influence your future or where you're stepping into. So with that aside, now I look at this spinal energy that I'm connecting with. So it still feels like this thin, probably about as thick as your thumb, spinal energy that's charred or like charcoal. So again, like I said, this feels like a time marker, a marker in your timeline that keeps you in the moment. It keeps you in the now, and it feels burned. It feels like you've actually burned some old stuff away. Perhaps energetically or recently, you've been doing some work with the fire element to burn away things that have been holding you back. Because I feel like previously, as I sort of skip back in time a little bit, I can feel that your spine, before it was charred, it was like it was covered in like barnacles and things energetically, and that a fire came through. So maybe you working with the fire to burn that those energies away. So that's what I feel is charred. So this is the result of some healing work and some energy work you've done, especially connected with the fire element. So I'm seeing this now like a burned tree, if you like, a burned tree trunk, not quite that thick, but like a thin tree trunk, burned out. And I'm feeling inside this life, this greenery. In fact, it's green, exactly like this green in this card here I pulled for you, David. So the inner part of this rod of your spine is that beautiful green, and inside it's growth. And soon, in fact, I can feel it start accelerating now, that this energy is starting to move out like growths of leaves and new branches that are growing up this spinal energy. So there's growth as you connect in with the now moment, as you connect in with your own spinal energy perhaps, which is a great way to keep you centered and aligned and focused on the now moment, and helping keep your attention in the now is what I'm feeling. So I trust that makes sense for you, David. So let's grab an Animal Kingdom Oracle card just to see what that wants to add, and if it wants to confirm anything or what have you. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. So the best card for you, David, is this. It's here. It's the flamingos. It says social gathering, and this feels like it brings a fun, playful energy into this space that we've been connecting with. So it's been quite serious, and with this flamingo energy, I feel like it lifts the energy up and brings it into a playful mode. So I feel as you let your let this energy settle in your spine, let it grow from inside, I feel that this is going to help lift your spirits and help bring a playful quality into your moments. So the key, the power here is in the now moment, and that's what we've really been shifting and focusing on. So I trust that resonates with you, David. Thank you so much for your support, and namaste. Okay, thank you. How is everyone doing? I have just started, if you just joined in, and I'm connecting with 3 of my patrons today. So David was the first, and the second person is this person. It's who? It's Carol White. So Carol, take a nice big breath, and we'll see which healing energy card you need today, and then I will tune in and we'll see what's going on in your energy, what's loudest in your vibration. So let's see. Okay, the best card for you, Carol, is this. Look, it's that. It's the exact same card. It's Lotus Heart Opening. Card 29 has come up for you as well, Carol. So there's most likely a cross connection here between David's healing and David's connection and yours. So David, if you're still watching, there's probably something connected here for you as well. I find when cards come up that are the same, when I'm doing these types of group connections or individual connections in this way, that there's usually a cross connect in some way. So let's see where we need to go with your connection, Carol. So nice big breath, please, and we'll see what's happening in your vibration. Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm seeing is you holding your arms up high, your hands up high, and in your hands you're grasping what first of all looks to me like a bunch of flowers, but I'm not exactly sure yet. That's just how it feels for now. So you're holding this bunch of flowers or this bunch of something in your arms, and they're right up as far as you can stretch. And then I see you open your hands, open your arms, and drop this bunch of stuff, this bunch of flowers, not flowers. Let me just tune in and see exactly what this is. And I'm seeing the phoenix rising from this. So I'm just sort of freezing this. I want to look further into what, if I need to know, what is it that you're holding. So it looks like a bunch of straw or hay that's dried up that you've got it in your hands. And you've let this go and you're dropping it straight on the flame, the fire that's just here, down on the ground in front of you, slightly to the right. So you're dropping this straw down onto the fire, which is fueling it. And as it fuels, it's like it poofs up, so it sort of bursts into flames, if you like. And out of this burst of flames soars this phoenix. And this phoenix just soars straight up into the sky very quickly and with very, very strong energy, just pushing upward. It's like an updraft of flame that's pushing this phoenix up into the sky. It leaves the earth, the fire, like a rocket, just shooting up, up and up. With force, with strength, with speed, and it just continues to fly, to soar upward like a rocket. So just letting it do that. Let's just connect back into your body. And I see here at your heart, there's a book that's open. And this book feels like it's this book of knowledge. It's the book of your own knowledge, your own learning, your own experiences, the things that you've discovered, the book that you've written of your life, but not just this lifetime, if you're open to it, other lifetimes too, and also times in between your lifetimes in those physical senses, in that physical sense. So if you're open to it, this book, we could say, is part of your Akashic records, and this Akashic record book of yours, it contains everything that you've experienced since your separation from the Creator. And it sits here open in your heart. You're writing it today. So even though your days at times might feel a bit mundane, or you're not accomplishing what you want to accomplish, and you might feel that you want to be doing something more with your life, I feel like there's a reminder here from this book, and how it's feeling is that every moment, every day that you're going through, as mundane as it might seem, is an important sentence or an important thing that you're writing in your Akashic record, your actual book that's been written since your separation from the Creator. So you have this knowledge within you, and you are writing on it every day, no matter how profound or how mundane your focus is for that day and the next day. Of course, if you want to bring more meaning into your life, if you want to live with a little bit more purpose, then that's up to you to look at, okay, what can I do to create that for myself, so I can write something really exciting in this book of mine. So when I do look back, I can see that, hey, I've lived with as much purpose and had as much, or created as much impact, positive impact as I can. So this book is open, you're writing on it now. So if you don't like what you're writing, then that's something perhaps to think about, is the feeling here. So as I talk about this, the phoenix is now coming back down, and it soars down and lands, actually sort of jumps into your book. So it's like the phoenix sort of shrinks down, or your book gets larger, and the phoenix dives right into the inner part of the spine. I don't know if it's called the spine, but that very inner crease there where the book's bound. It dives right in there, like it dives into a cave or something, or like a cave. So it dives in here and it starts spinning. This cave is your heart, and this cave is where this book resides. And the phoenix has dived deeply into the book, deep into your heart, and it's just spinning rapidly now, and it feels like it's sort of burning away all the insides of your heart. So if your heart was a cave, it's sort of burning everything from inside that area, all your old wounds, the things that are holding you back from a heart perspective, on a heart level, on a love level. And it's burning this, it's burning, and it's just beautiful. So it's all just sort of in flames here within your heart cavity, within the cave of your heart. And I see, as I look from the book perspective, I just see little puffs of smoke that are just coming out that center part of the book. Not burning the book, but just little smoke signals. It's like smoke signals your heart is sending out to you. So what is your heart signaling? What does it want you to think about or consider, especially in regards to what you're writing in your own book of life? What are you writing on a day-to-day basis? And are you happy with what you're writing? And if not, what can you do or what can you shift to help create or write an adventure for yourself in this book? So let's see which healing energy card you need to add to this, Carol. So nice big breath. No wonder I felt like I wanted this orange top on today, because there is a lot of fire energy around. A lot of fire energy and a lot of heart energy. So that's interesting in itself. Here's your card, Carol. It's the fiddler crab. The fiddler crab says to be on guard. So be on guard. Keep yourself protected, we could say, but not paranoid. So this is just using your awareness, really. Your awareness, your observations, to make sure that you are safe and protected. And especially as you as you explore your heart space, as you explore this cavity of your heart and this book of yours, which are two things I'd perhaps be curious about exploring if it was me. Maybe you feel something similar, or maybe something else has really stood out for you. But as you look into things like this, it's probably going to create a raw, vulnerable space here in your heart. So it's important, the fiddler's crab message is to trust that you are safe and protected. Use your awareness and your observations to make sure that you are putting yourself in a safe space as best as you can, while you go on this heart adventure, this heart journey, to really find out more about yourself is ultimately what's happening here. So the Phoenix is about new beginnings. It's about rising from the ashes. And there's lots of things in here to explore and think about. So thanks so much, Carol. I trust this resonates, and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, so I trust everyone's feeling good. Let's see. I'm now going to use my shell to pick the last person. And the last person I'm connecting with today is Jodi Kerry. So Jodi, take a nice big breath. So these people I'm connecting with are some of my Temple of Balance patrons. They pledge at the $50 level or higher. And as part of that, part of the sort of rewards or resources that people can access at that level is this healing event. So it's more of a personal connection where I'm connecting with the individual personally. So if you want to have a look further or think about perhaps joining in next month, then please have a look on my Patreon page, which you'll find a link in the video details wherever they are. I don't know where they sit, depending on what we're looking at, what device or piece of equipment we're using probably. So okay, Jodi, take a nice big breath and let's see which card you need for today. Okay, Jodi, your card is this. It's this, Heaven on Earth, card 44. And it says merging heaven, the merging of heaven on earth, the manifestation of ideas into reality, combining of masculine and feminine, grounding, oneness, sacred relationships, and twin flame reunion. This is very much about connecting on the vertical axis, which we actually have done quite a lot of already with the connections today. So there is most likely an overlap with them all. But when I connected with David's spine, that's on the vertical. When we connected with the flame and the phoenix and that rising up energy, that's on the vertical. So there's a lot of vertical energy that's happening at the moment. And when I think of vertical energy, I'm thinking of our connections. So our connections to spirit, our connections to our life. On the other end, if it was more of a horizontal connection, I would be thinking more of our life's path on that horizontal plane. So we'd probably be looking more at timelines, like we did a bit with David too, even though it felt more vertical. So there'd be a timeline, journey, that sort of energy connection when we're looking at the horizontal axis, the horizontal energy. But Jodi, we've got the vertical energy coming in for you. So take a nice big breath and we'll just see what's happening in your energy. So the first thing I'm picking up is this chair behind you, and you're being encouraged to lean back into this energetic chair. So if you're in a chair now while you're connecting with this, I just make sure your spine's nice and straight and just lean back in the chair and let it support you. So let it support your spine, let it support your body, let it support your tailbone, your hips. Just feel the support of the chair as it supports your body. So you've been encouraged to settle back into this energy. As you settle back into this energy, it's like you're settling back into some type of aircraft or something that feels like it flies. So it feels like almost like you're in the driver's seat of your own aircraft. And as you settle back into it, as you let the resistance, the fear, the anxiety, the nervousness perhaps about what might be, as you let all that subside and you settle in and let the chair support you, that energy support you, I feel like you're ready to take hold of the controllers of your own aircraft. So it's like the controllers appear, you put your arms out and grasp the controller. It's like a half sort of wheel or sort of yeah, so like a wheel with the top and the bottom just slightly cut off. So it's curved on the sides here. I see you holding it here, and you're taking control back of where you're going, what you're seeing. But the interesting thing is about this is that it's an aircraft. So I feel we've got potential here to take off. We've got potential here to fly. Whereas if it was a vehicle, which is still a great thing, a vehicle is going to take you on that, I guess, on that horizontal axis. It's going to take you along the road, like a bit like I was talking about before with that horizontal axis. So being in an aircraft is something a little bit special, I feel. There's something quite special and important about this. And I feel like it's about not only taking control of your life and where you're going, but it's taking it's taking the reins of your freedom, really, isn't it? It's your freedom from the confines of your day-to-day life or the confines of your life's path, the duties, the obligations that you have. It's your freedom from that, even though you're still going through it. There's a sense of elevation here, of upliftment, as you let this aircraft ride along the road, ride along the runway, but then you lean back further in your chair, trusting in the support that you have, trusting in where you're going and not overthinking it, not doubting it, not questioning it. Well, yeah, you can question it, but if the questions are doubting questions, then that's a different perspective. If your questions are empowering to help you really look at this situation in its fullness, then they can be empowering questions. But you're doubting, fearful questions. You're, is this, am I qualified for this? Those sorts of questions probably wouldn't support where you're going. So the more you lean back in this chair, the more you let yourself be supported and trust in where you're going, even though you might not have any idea where you're going. I feel like this is allowing the steering wheel, the controls that you've got, to pull back so this aircraft that you're driving, that you're controlling, lifts off and takes into flight. And I can see all these flashing lights around. So flashing lights around the cockpit or where have you. I can't see any wings, but I know that we're in flight here. So there's a lot of little lights that are flashing here and there. So these feel like little signs that are showing you and confirming for you that you are on track. So you can believe them, you can trust them because they're leading you in the right direction. Hi, Tamitha. So you can trust where you're going and what's playing out for you as you sort of sit back, but at the same time trust in the support that you have that's taking you where you need to be. And where you need to be is to an elevated level, and also in tapping into your freedom. So even though you might still be going through your sort of everyday tasks and the things that you might be dragging your feet with, how can you do those things in a more elevated, freer way? Maybe you could listen to music while you're doing it, your favorite song, so you can lift your spirits, sort of let the music lift you while you're going through your tasks. I mean, I don't know what your tasks and duties are that this is specifically talking about, but there's a way it feels that you can elevate these so they become less mundane, less of a drag, less of something that's holding you down or pinning you down, and more of something that you can sort of, I get this feeling of escape from in some ways. So I feel like this sense of escape, but definitely elevation, this lifting up feeling. So see how that sits for you, Jodi. Let's grab an Animal Kingdom Oracle card to see what that wants to add here. And yeah, whew, the energy's very strong today. So your best Animal Kingdom Oracle card, Jodi, is this. Oh, sorry. I think I just laughed or giggled or whatever, a little loud. It's card 28, the Orca Whale. And the keywords down here say, living your purpose. So, I mean, that's very self-explanatory. And really, we can link this back to Carol's connection, where we talked about that book, the Akashic Record book there in her heart. So there's a sense here of creating a deeper, more meaningful sense of purpose for you in your life, where you can elevate or think about how you can take those mundane things to the next level. How can you bring more adventure, more purpose into your life? How can you free yourself and let yourself lift off, let yourself be elevated and your life be elevated? So there is a way to do that. And for you to discover that is where the gem's going to be. So I trust that something that's shared, something that's come up for you, will help prompt you to find or to inspire you to take your life by the controller and sit back, trust, and let it steer. Let the vehicle, the aircraft, if you like, that you're driving, let that lift you up to the next level. So maybe the key here is in trusting in the support that you have, trusting that you are supported as you lift off, and maybe think about how you can apply these elevated ideas or these elevating ideas into those mundane sort of everyday parts of your life. So that'll be something for you to figure out and think upon, feel upon, and see how can you apply this? Where does this relate? What could I do to elevate this area of my life I feel a bit stuck with? And how can you live more of your purpose? So your purpose is not something that's going to come to you. It's not going to just come and knock on your door. Well, I guess it could, but it'd be a very rare occurrence that your purpose actually comes to you. It's something that really is found inside for you to discover and uncover, for you to go on an adventure of some sort. You know, it could be a day-to-day adventure. It doesn't mean you go trekking into the Himalayas, for example. It doesn't have to be that sort of adventure. It could be just your adventure today, getting up this morning, going to bed at night, and what your adventure has been throughout that period, for you to discover and find that meaning, that purpose, that feeling of belonging, that elevation that wants to come into your life. So thanks, Jodi. That's your card, living your purpose. I trust this resonates and makes sense to you. Thank you so much for your support, Jodi. Namaste. And thank you all for your support. I'm really, really grateful. I trust that you've enjoyed this connection and our time together today. I will be back next month towards the 3 to 4 weeks into November. I can't believe the year's just flying by, isn't it? So I'll be back then. If you're inspired to continue being a patron, I will connect with you then, and I look forward to it. If you want to have a connection in this way, then please have a look on my Patreon page. It's the $50 pledge level, and there's heaps of other things you get. The $10, $15, $20 level too, so that you have access to all of those things. And it could just be a one-off. You can cancel anytime if it's something you're inspired to do or to connect in this way. So yeah, see how you go. Thanks so much. Oh, hi everybody, lovely to see you. I'm heading off now, so thanks so much for your support. Thanks for being here, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. See ya.